It's -2 degrees in Coma, but we know spring is near when the farmers in town begin their annual recruitment of children to fill their farms with laughter and the pitter-patter of hard-working feet. This is Coma News Daily, the internet news source portal for the town of Coma. As ever, we're brought to you by the wonderful folks at Liquid Ham.
Liquid Ham tastes great.
I'm Dr. Jimmy, Coma physician and sometimes raver, as well as your stand-in newsreader.
And I'm Shane Darvish. I hate the news really, unless it's about me or gossip, but I have charisma shooting out of my eyes, so I'm here to keep people awake because Jimmy is so boring. Sorry, Jimmy.
Right. This week in Coma, it's all about freezing temperatures with an eye toward the eventual thaw.
It's freezing, which is a shame because I look much better in warm weather.
Our lead story is some pre-breaking news by Coma News Daily reporter Thomas Stephen John, who sees such news during peyote-fueled fever dreams.
Mayor Dave Anderson plans to request a firebombing of Coma on Saturday, Coma News Daily has learned. Anderson, who has not yet revealed the plan to anyone, was seen implementing the airstrike in the future fever dreams of Thomas Stephen John, a Coma News Daily reporter. The high-altitude napalm strike will aim to melt the remainder of the record 87 inches that have fallen in Coma this winter. The idea was seen coming to Anderson suddenly as he quietly contemplated what he sees as the utter meaninglessness of life during yet another day trapped indoors by frigid temperatures. It was then that he remembered a commander in the local Air National Guard owed me big, like Tijuana big. What? I have no idea what you're talking about, Anderson said when asked about the impending bombardment. Although this damn winter feels like it's never going to end. Like ever. When asked about the high likelihood of death and destruction as a result of his actions, Anderson mumbled with a faraway look that, fire melts snow, it ain't rocket science. When asked about the likely impact of the airstrike on his re-election chances, Anderson snapped out of his vacant stare. Oh yeah, well, maybe we could just wait and see, he said. You hear what forecast is for next week?
Wow, that's kind of mind-blowing, a peyote-fueled fever dream. And actually, the airstrike sounds kind of fantastic at this point.
In other news of cabin fever-induced terror, Coma business leaders were recently shaken by a corporate Bigfoot sighting.
As rare as it is to see Bigfoot or Sasquatch in the wild, coming across one in the business world is even more unlikely and can be just as startling. Ask Nick Migliaccio, Senior Vice President of Sales at Coma United Financial Services, who claims he encountered a Bigfoot at a shareholders meeting in January. The meeting started pretty routine, Migliaccio said. Then we got to the part about quarterly dividends, and in walks in this giant hairy son of a gun. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. He approached the front of the room and went into a rather long lecture on how dividends were down and that it might be time to consider a new strategy. At least that's what I thought he was saying. I mean, he's Bigfoot. I don't know his language. Migliaccio was not the only witness to this incredible event. Several shareholders who had managed to stay awake until that point in the meeting corroborated his story. He talked about 40 minutes and then fielded some questions from the shareholders, said Bob Smith, who was a longtime shareholder. He mostly answered with a series of grunts and growls, so you kind of had to piece it together, but for the most part, he didn't shy away from any of the tough questions. According to local cryptozoology expert Michael Horncraft, such encounters are incredibly rare, but add to the credibility to decades of accounts regarding what are known as corporate Bigfoots. These are serious, well-dressed anthropologic creatures with keen business sense, Horncraft said, of corporate Bigfoot. Most of their business knowledge is based on an economy that trades sticks, leaves, and animal droppings, but it's fundamentally the same principles. Added Migliaccio, if I'm being completely honest, I had no friggin' clue what he was talking about, but that could be said for any one of these meetings. Don't print that part. Now for sports, and yes, another Bigfoot sighting. It's been a lovely winter, folks.
A pickup basketball game at the Coma City Park was interrupted last week after participants claimed a Sasquatch sat down near the court and indicated he got next. The incident marks the third reported sighting of a Bigfoot in Coma this year, and left witnesses shaken. "I almost crapped myself," coma teen Chase Donovan said. "Can I say crap myself on an internet news site?" According to eyewitnesses, the giant hair-covered figure emerged from a nearby restroom midway through a friendly yet competitive 3-on-3 basketball game. After watching from afar for several minutes, the Bigfoot approached a bench near the court, relaced his shoes, and then sat down. "He started tapping his chest and pointing to himself," Donovan said. "Then he pretended to shoot a basketball and dribble and kept pointing to himself. We finally realized he was calling next game." According to amateur cryptozoologist Michael Horncraft, while it is rare for a Bigfoot to play recreational team sports, it is not unheard of. There have been accounts of Bigfoot engaging in volleyball games and even gymnastics, Horncraft said. It is much more common for them to stick to their own cultural games like hit, stick, rock, or leaf on head, leaf tucked in shoe, don't touch leaf. Donovan said that he and his friends left the court following their game but watched from a distance as Bigfoot sat slumped on the park bench, shaking his head. "I think he was sad that no one wanted to play with him," Donovan said. "But forget that. I mean, who wants to match up with him in the paint?"
And now for a selection from our classifieds. Wanted news leader. Have you ever sought to shine the bright light of public knowledge on the world of the powerful? Have you ever lived out of your car at a highway rest stop? Do you seek the power of life and death over other human beings but were unable to pass a sheriff's background check or psychiatric exam? Then consider joining a family of focused, hardworking, creative, and intelligent people who take pride in their work at Coma News Daily. Our team have backgrounds in painting, dance, literature, miming, grassroots politics, panhandling, jello wrestling, sports, and high-tech stalking, on top of other more relevant experience. Most of us are passionate about the categories our brands cover, while others are frankly just punching the clock. But what we are all passionate about is that Coma and doing our part to building the best print and internet radio news source for a community that is challenging, awkward, grumpy, and probably doesn't deserve us. Coma News Daily needs a rock-ribbed editor with the intestinal fortitude and bladder health necessary to handle the 24/7 rigors of small-town reporting. Other helpful but certainly not required attributes include mental stability and a functioning moral compass. Requirements: graduate journalism degree, 10 to 18 years of hard news reporting. Benefits: barn-based group housing. Compensation: editing the news. Contact us at comanewsdaily@gmail.com.
This week's obituaries are brought to you by A Home for Those Guys, an assisted living facility for recently divorced men, and My Home.
Time was a man could be a man, set his own schedule, and seize his own destiny. Hey guys, if you're ready to be a man again without all the lame stuff, check out a place for those guys. Why should I live there? Because we offer affordable accommodations and wraparound services for all the recently divorced men. Services like house cleaning, we got you. Cooking, we got you. Alcohol, cigarette, and nitrous delivery, we got you. Therapeutic Swedish and Korean massage, we got you. Gray market stuff, look, guys, if you need it, we got it, or we'll go out and get it. Bottom line, find the life you've always dreamed about before all the other stuff got in the way, right here in a place for those guys. Now, one Coma resident remembers a fallen hero. The following blog is an excerpt by Mary Belle Davis, a Coma resident, business owner, and is one of a series of excerpts from local bloggers republished as a community service by Coma News Daily.
Mary Belle Davis, 27 years old, awesome blogger of awesome things. Coma News Daily editor Don Johnson Michaels is either missing or dead, or he ran away on purpose, and I thought I would say a few words about how that makes me feel since I have a blog. The most important thing is that he's remembered. I didn't know Don Johnson Michaels, but I ate lunch near him one time at the Coma Diner. He was eating a tuna fish sandwich, gross, and I was eating salad. In the moment, he reminded me of why I eat salad, because that tuna fish smelled horrible. People die. They go missing, bad things happen, and the most important thing to remember is how they affected your everyday life, even though you never met them. I remember one time I was with some friends at Bear's Biker Bar, and Janice, who was wearing a pink cashmere sweater that was way too tight, said, "Mary Belle, that old creepy guy is ogling you." And I looked over, and that guy was balding, old, wearing a suspicious trench coat, and there was a line of drool falling down his chin, and that guy was Don Johnson Michaels. And I can't tell you what he meant to my life, because I never spoke to him, even though he reproduced my blog and his paper without asking me. But I'll never forget him, because Janice said I should get a restraining order.
And now for Today in QOM History, where those who fail to remember history will be jailed. Today we learn how the invention of mustache handlebars almost revolutionized transportation. Invented on this day in Winston Montgomery's garage in 1894, the mustache handlebars were an instant success and put coma on the objects made from human hair map. Montgomery, who was fascinated by using human hair to construct everything from fake beards, toupees, lollipops, and headstones, believed the mustache handlebars would revolutionize transportation by making bicycles more human-like. In 1894, an article in the National Bicycle magazine, Montgomery wrote, "I take great pride in constructing the first semi-rigid handlebars made entirely from human mustache hair. It is my gift to the world." Initial sales of the handlebars were promising, but quickly dried up after users complained about the flimsy nature of the device and the inability to steer the bike, which resulted in a number of accidents. Montgomery ceased production of the mustache handlebars in 1896. The design of the handlebars subsequently inspired a popular facial hair fashion trend. And now a word from another sponsor, Jack's Organic Bikes.
Do you like outdoor biking? Are you committed to juicing, reusing, and cycling? Hi, I'm here to talk about Jack's Organic Bikes. That's right, all the joy in a high-end bicycle without a guilt of a massive carbon footprint. Pre-owned, engineless vehicles, locally sourced from your friends and neighbors. They're guaranteed to burn fat like a steel blast furnace while giving you a thrill of a lifetime. So ride on. You come all cowboys to Jack's.
Jack's Used Cars is not responsible for the legal status of organic bicycles or future criminal charges related to the receipt of stolen property. Please use a helmet and bike responsibly.
The following is an editorial by Davis Montgomery III, publisher of QOM News Daily and an avid horse breeder. He speaks today on the future of farming. Last year's child farm experience was so successful, Davis will again offer all QOM children the chance to farm for just $500 per week.
What's that smell? Fresh air? No, it is farm air. People ask me all the time, "Davis, what makes your children so happy?" I always say two things. First, I don't under any circumstances take care of them. Second, we live on a farm. How does that keep them happy? Well, when you don't see your children except for on rare occasions and for 15 minutes during the holidays, well, then you really see your children at their best. Some people say, "My children poop everywhere. They write on walls. They throw up. They are failing in school." I don't bother with such trivialities, as these are matters that fall within the purview of my fifth-ranked maid and chief nanny. My role is to send the children out to work the farm. No money changes hands, of course, but I do keep a chart and ledger of sorts over the years to track the ratio of resources they use compared to how much work they do on the farm. For a small fee, your children can join mine in working this multi-million-dollar agribusiness that some call a farm. But why pay me? First, it's a chance for your child to be outside, to see chicks and geese born, to milk a cow, to gut a pig. Secondly, it's a chance to support your local agribusiness. Third, it will be an amazing time. For just $500 a week, they will learn the simple joys that come with both interacting with nature and helping to crush any nascent unionization efforts. So this summer, when you're thinking about what activities to enroll your progeny in, select the right choice for the love of your children.
As the icy claw of winter grabs ever tighter around our frozen subconscious, many of my patients have sought warmth from the love of a new pet. Here's medical advice for some aspiring pet owners. There are dog people, cat people, and even folks who like fish as pets. But anyone who's ever been fortunate enough to raise a wild wolverine at home knows that the most honest and rewarding relationship is between a human and a wild, untamed, and unpredictable small predator. Raising wolverines is not like raising other pets. As someone who has lived with these insensitive and ferocious monsters for nearly 2 decades, I can offer some tips and suggestions for first-time wolverine owners navigating their way through a potentially deadly yet fulfilling relationship. First, no wolverines in your bed. I made this mistake several times. When these animals get hungry, or even just playful, it's likely to get a hold of your ear and not stop. While it might seem kind of cute the first time, by the second time you will regret your decision, especially if you wear eyeglasses. Second, let wolverines urinate at all times. It is not recommended that you attempt to house train your wolverine. The animals evacuate their bowels everywhere and view efforts to clean it up as a direct challenge to their territory. The best advice is simply to steer clear of any place in your home where your wolverine has urinated. Third, stay in your room after dark. If someone were to ask me just one piece of advice before leaping into the world of wolverine pet ownership, I would probably plead with them to fear the dark. As soon as the sun sets, go into your bedroom, lock the door, and don't come out until daybreak. You'll be tempted to, once you hear that loud-pitched squealing sound, or when there's a faint sound of mooning, but it's best to just go ahead and leave it alone. Those are my key pieces of medical advice. Remember to love your wolverine, but also be very, very, very cautious, because that violent, impulsive little devil will chew your face off right in front of your eyes. This has been the Medical Mosh with Dr. Jimmy. In good health.
For a commentary about human connection, instead of connecting with your neighbors this winter through Facebook, maybe a better way would be a game of tag. Coma News intern and octogenarian Stan Bargemeyer connects with his inner hipster with some old phonograph equipment he found in his attic.
If anybody is up for a game of tag, let me know. I am up for playing a game of tag if anyone is interested. Just let me know. I have not played in almost 50 years, but think I remember most of the rules. We could play in my living room. I even have blankets. My only rule is I don't want people touching me, because that makes me uncomfortable. I get anxiety when I think about other people touching me, or people coughing in my face. But it would be fun to play tag. I don't play a lot of games anymore because it's harder and harder for me to move around. Another rule is that there can't be any running because my hip sometimes gives out, and I'm missing a couple of toes on my right foot. When I was a kid, I liked playing tag because it was like you were trying to get away from people who were chasing you. It was fun. One other rule I have is that I don't like to be chased. It is scary. I find I'm more easily frightened these days. Last thing I want is to be chased around my home by people. It will give me nightmares. But we should definitely play tag. I can do it Thursday morning before my medical bath. Let me know. It'll be fun.
That's it for Coma News Daily this week.
Stay warm, folks, and remember to check on your neighbors.
Until next time, be good, beware, and be newsworthy, Coma.